Welcome back to another episode of the Pick Up the Pace podcast with Magic and Anaru. Today we are speaking with Paora Ratahi, a content producer at Sky Sport in New Zealand. You may not have heard of him, but he has produced a number of Sky Sport documentaries, including a series following the pre-season of the New Zealand Warriors and the Hurricanes.
He is also producer of a number of docos on the All Blacks haka, Nehe Milner-Skudder, the Barrett brothers, the Savea brothers, Aaron Smith, Israel Dagg, Kieran Read, DJ Perenara, Karl Tuanuka-Awhi and Portia Woodman, and the list goes on.
Mai ngā kuri a whare ki tihirau he uri no te Tufano Apanui, no te whānau Delamere, me te whānau Waititi, mai ngā marae o Whitianga, Rawa ko Pararaki, no mai, hara mai, and welcome to the Pick Up the Pace podcast, Paora Ratahi. Kia ora, Paora.
Oh, kia ora, nā mihi kia kora. O tira, kia koutou hoki.
Nā koe, Paora. So, Paora, nō reira, tell us where you're from, nō hia koe, and a little bit about your whānau, your upbringing. Did you play any sports? Give us a little bit of a bio on yourself.
Yeah, well, I was born and bred in Napier. My whānau from the East Coast, Tufano Apanui, and yeah, pretty much lived most of my life in Napier for like 20 years. Grew up there, went to school there. Played sports, obviously, rugby, basketball, touch, league, volleyball, loved it all. And went to uni in Wellington, lived in Wellington for 7 years, and then moved to Japan for 3 years to teach English, and then came back to New Zealand after that, and thought I'd give the TV game a bit of a crack. Went to film school, and then kind of just worked my way heaps of different roles, and been at Sky TV for 5 years now, and not much people can say that they can work in their dream job, and I'm fortunate enough to say I could say easily that I haven't worked a day at Sky. It's awesome, dream job, love it.
Hey, Paora, we hear that you perform for the Tufano Apanui Kapahaka group at regional and national level. How much of a buzz has that been for you and your whānau, and how important is Māoritanga to you?
Oh, that was awesome. It was just great just to be able to go back home. Living in Auckland and away from the coast, it's, you can get detached from, being back at the marae and being back home. With Tufano Apanui, it's really isolated and small area. From Auckland, it's probably 5 hours easy. And to be able to go back home and to do kapahaka, it was awesome to learn, stories of hapu iwi. Is awesome. Got the opportunity to perform for Tufano Apanui, usually on the wing, back row. But no, it was awesome, and I love it, and it's just a great excuse to go home.
Hey, Paora, growing up, who were some of your sporting heroes?
I loved Carlos, even though I'm a Hurricanes supporter through and through. I guess Carlos was the man, Māori. He's got skills galore, and I'd always hate the battle between him and Mertz. But yeah, Carlos was the man for me. And Cully, being a Hurricane supporter, those two are probably my, favourite sports people growing up that I loved and followed all the time. Hurricanes were my first team that I supported in, and the Blues, I only watched them because of Carlos.
You'll feel ripped off now that they cut the season short and the Blues were going ham and tong, eh?
Oh, no, bro. It's good because the season never happened. So, they already killed us with stealing Bodie. So, it never really happened.
Hey, we hear you into rugby league and you're a hearty Queensland Maroon supporter. Why Queensland for you, Paora?
I guess I grew up during the Wally Lewis days, and at school we all had our different teams. We'd play, choose our teams, and for me, Queensland was always the team that I supported back then. And during those days, it was kind of even, and then New South Wales had that dominant period where they just, they were hammering us, and people were thinking, Queensland were rubbish. But I just loved the passion, and yeah, and then when we went on that massive run of, I think it was 8, 9, 10 years. I can't remember, it was too long. Yeah, no, during that time was awesome, eh? I don't think you're ever going to see a period of dominance like that ever again. And me and my mate, one of our on our bucket list was to go to a State of Origin game, and we went to Brisbane. Obviously, you can't go to a State of Origin game without going to, to Brisbane, and just going down Caxton Street with a sea of maroon, and it's everywhere, and you're just like, these are my peoples. And you're like two Māori fellas, and these Australians like, what are you guys up to?
That's the one. I'm Queensland, are you?
Yeah, all the way.
Yeah,
since I was like 1 month old.
Whoa. Hey, Paola, when we Googled you, it said you were in the famous Taika Waititi movie, Boy, and then we found out that Taika was your first cousin. Which character did you play in the movie, Paola, and how did that all come about?
So I played one of the gang members that beats up the crazy horses at the pub. So one of the boys with the mullet, the young fella, I throw him into the bush. So I played one of the gang members. I think our name was Ngā Taniwha. Not many people would know about the other gang, but our gang name was the Ngā Taniwha. And I played one of the gang members. Obviously, another opportunity to go home, and helps when your cousin is the director and just says, "Oh, just be down here at this time. We just need you for the night, and if you're keen, yep, you're in there." So, yeah, that was me. And well, half the movie is heaps of my father in there anyway.
Yeah, well, you even had your own. We see you've got your own IMDb page online as well.
Do you want to share to the audience what they named you in that little description?
Oh yeah, the actress. I try to see if I can change it.
Yeah. Hey, we've also heard you were part of the Orc Choir in the Lord of the Rings. How was that experience for you? And you still remember the chants that you had to do?
Getting some real in-depth research here. I know where you're getting it from too. I think it was during my uni days. Myself and the person you got the intel from were at home doing nothing, and we got a call if we wanted to be part of this choir for Lord of the Rings, because they had a kapahaka-ish chants. They wanted some grunty noises. So we just said, oh yeah, what do we have to do? And they're like, come down and you can get paid. And then I think it was like $700 at the time, and we were just stoked because, students. So yeah, that was us. We were in there doing the choir bits. We had a day practice, and then we went to, I think it was Wellington Town Hall, and they had the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra and us in there in the choir. And then, yeah, Peter Jackson was coming out, telling us to, go again. That was awesome.
Do you remember the chant, Paola?
Yeah, give us one. Come on, bro.
Oras ni pura o has tanaki lu askagaba oras ni.
Hey! Awesome.
But the funny thing is, we were supposed to sing these chants, but myself and Jody, my good friend who you got the intel from, we were both singing, thinking that we were part of the choir. They had all these singers who were in there as well, and he was looking at me going, "Hey, you're supposed to be chanting." I was like, "Nah, stuff that. Let's sing as well."
Hey, when did your passion for TV production start? Can you talk us through your journey in that space and how it all started before you got the gig at Sky?
Yeah, well, it was, I guess, my first opportunity or chance that I got to kind of that piqued my interest in the TV was with Jody. We got asked from a friend to be runners on a game show for Māori, I think it was TV3 at the time, called Ihumania, and it was run through the people that make pukana, and we just had to drive around because it was a school kind of debate competition, and it was filmed and had that all to do different stuff. And there we were the runners and who had to pick up all the different schools and kids and drop them off at the studio. And we kind of saw all the behind the scenes of how to make a TV show. And that kind of piqued my interest of, oh yeah, this is how they, run stuff and make a television program. I thought, oh, this would be cool. So I was about to go to TV school at Avalon, but I ended up going to Japan for 3 years. And then when I came back, I decided that I still wanted to do it. So I went to South Seas TV film school for a year, 2008. And yeah, that was 1 year of, and you get a diploma of television, and it was, pretty intense. And it was all hands on, and it was an awesome experience. Just be able to do stuff. And yeah, from then on, really, I got my first job at Māori Television directing a little like segment called Funny Fellas, which was kind of like, 2-3 minutes. And I had to do 12 of those of different famous Māori celebrities. And yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, to be able to finish film school and to get your first TV gig was great. But then, the harsh reality of being a freelancer kicked in. And I didn't know that the freelance world was pretty harsh and pretty cutthroat, of the feast and famine. And, I had to go on the dole after that. And I was like, wow, this is TV. This is TV. So, yeah, just kind of soldiered on doing different jobs and just loved it. And yeah, it's been nearly over 10 years now, and yeah, just love it. And done heaps of different shows and stuff, and just kind of learnt heaps along the way, picked up stuff. And yeah, just this 5 years now being here at Sky has been really awesome, and just being able to, I guess, grow and work on my craft.
As we said at the top in the intro, you're now the content producer at Sky TV New Zealand. Can you tell our listeners what this means and what you're responsible for?
Yeah, so a content producer their job is to, I guess, either to do a short form story, which could be 2 to 3 minutes or 4 minutes, to doing a documentary, which could be 25 or an hour, depending on if you've pitched it or not, or if someone has asked you to do a project or something like that. So for 4 years, I was on the rugby team, and my job was to basically do all the, I guess, build-up stories for Super Rugby, All Blacks, Mitre 10, and I guess stories for like shows like Breakdown as well. Yeah, and loved it. It's definitely a dream job, and I loved being in the rugby team. I was in the rugby team for 4 years, and this year I decided that I wanted to do something different, because I thought I'd pretty much done everything that I could in the rugby team, and then they needed some fresh people in there. So I wanted to test myself and do documentaries, long form documentaries. So stuff like a half an hour or an hour. So that's pretty much the pathway I've kind of really have taken so far.
Cool. It's awesome. Like we said at the top, you've done quite a few of the short form sports documentaries for Sky Sport. What we want to know is, like, what does the creative process look like when you put it all together behind the scenes?
Yeah, it just depends on the person, the player, or sometimes you just have to do a story on the person, because it might be 100 game coming up, or you just might have to do a profile on the person because they're playing really good at that time. But then sometimes you get those rare gems of stories where you might have an idea watch something, and you might just store it away for a rainy day. And some of them are real like slow burners, like the story I did on the haka leader, that took over two years to do, mainly because I was interviewing all the different guys. So with that story, I interviewed Aaron Smith, and he just talked about leading the haka one day. So I was just like, oh yeah, man, imagine it'd be cool if I could talk to all the guys who led the haka. So I talked to some people at work, and they said, yeah, you should do it. So it just took a process of time, really, to kind of nail down the different guys and try to get as much different people as possible. And yeah, when it finally came out, it was awesome, because it spent so long working on it and coming up with the idea. Some ideas just come just from watching stuff. Like I watch heaps of stuff and then just looking for ideas and stuff. And stuff can come out of the air, like the story I did on Aaron Smith about him passing the ball to a wheelie bin. That story came from him talking at a All Blacks press conference, and I heard him talk about it. So I thought, oh man, that'd be a cool idea for a story. So I thought, yeah, all right, I'll do that. And then, yeah, just having the chance to talk to Aaron, and then, yeah, he was totally on board with it. So yeah, he was happy to do that, and just talked about, growing up and passing the ball at the wheelie bin, and his dad was a big part of him growing up, of being, helping him improve his game and giving him good advice of, how to be the best halfback in the world. So, just stuff like that just comes out of, just little like press conferences, or you watch stuff on ESPN of, repurposed / stole a couple of ideas from some ESPN stories that I've seen, and just try to repurpose them for kind of rugby content.
So you've done a lot of documentaries and that, and you've just touched on some of the rare gems and the ones with Aaron Smith and stuff. And which ones have you really enjoyed producing the most, and why? And you must have one or two that just really resonate and stand out for you.
Yeah, stories like that, really, because they're out of the mold. They're not like the same old stories, like stories that help touch people, inspire people. Like the story I did with Portia Woodman for young girls who want to play rugby. That one was really cool, because I saw this the story in America that was about inspiring young girls to play sports. So I thought that it could be a great story to do for rugby girls, for girls who play rugby, but also incorporate all different women sporting heroes as well. And yeah, people love that type of story, and just stories that inspire people, like the story I did with Big Carl. His story is awesome, about how he was at such a massive weight, and then he lost all that weight, and then he went on to become an All Black. He was like 170 kilos. And, he was heading down a real dark path, and, then for the doctor to tell him that you got to lose weight or else you're going to die, that's pretty massive. And, especially for us brownies, who are not afraid of Kai, it's a good inspiring story to people out there to say that you can do anything if you put your mind to it.
Sports docos are becoming bigger and bigger, especially with the Michael Jordan Netflix series, The Last Dance. We hear you're a massive basketball fan. What have you enjoyed about that? I'm sure you've been watching it closely and getting some tips along the way.
Yeah. That's kind of the level I'd love to be at one day. And when you see stuff like that, which is, not only the footage that they have, which is, rare behind the scenes stuff, but also the awesome interviews that they have with Michael, and the way that they piece it all together is awesome. It's, for young directors like myself, it's something awesome to kind of inspire to head towards that kind of direction, but also just, as a sports fan, what a watch, eh?
Yeah.
What did you guys enjoy about it?
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen it yet because I'm going to wait because I want to sit there all quiet. I've got a busy house. So I want to do an omnibus, bro, and watch the whole 10. Bang, bang, bang. But the bro here, he's watched a few, eh?
Yeah, no, I love the story on Dennis Rodman, when he needed to take his vacation to Las Vegas for a week. But that's the thing, with some of these players, they're all very different, and some of them just need the time away from the game. But when they hit that court or get on the field, they still play just as well. Everyone's different, Dennis Rodman was one of them.
Yeah, what I liked about it too is the attitude and the mindset of the mentality of Michael, and also all the different players of how they compete at that top level. Being like interviewing a lot of different sports people, you see what it takes for them to be at that a real elite level, and the kind of mindset and sacrifices that these guys and girls do to be the very best. It's pretty awesome, to be in their presence.
Hey, what have been your all-time favourite sport documentaries and why?
Well, the 30 for 30 series is definitely my go-to. There's been so many awesome ones that I've loved, but well, Last Dance at the moment is pretty good as well. But yeah, mainly the 30 for 30 series. There's been so many good ones that I've loved, from the Fab Five to the one on Dennis Rodman. Yeah, there's been so many good ones. But yeah, usually in the 30 for 30 series is the ones that I've loved the most. How about you guys?
Oh, yeah, I've seen the Fab Five one. That's a good one. I didn't actually know too much about them, so that was quite an eye opener, and how they sort of went on to have massive NBA careers, some of them. But yeah, I think. What about you, bro?
My one goes way back to like maybe. I was just going to show my age here, maybe even 29 years. Damn. So Michael Jordan's playground.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man. I used to play basketball, so I used to just come home after school every day. I don't know how many times, and just watch that Michael Jordan's playground, because the one thing that resonated with me, that Michael Jordan, he never made his high school basketball team. And I don't know if it showed that in The Last Dance, but and that's one thing, I thought, well, to be a Michael Jordan, you don't have to be in the first 15, or you don't have to be in the first 5. You can just be anyone as long as you put that hard work in, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Michael Jordan's playground for me.
Nice.
So working at, sorry, bro, you go.
I was going to say, in that same vein, was like I had the, I think it was Come Fly With Me.
Yes.
The MJ one back. Same thing like you, bro. I watch it every day.
Yep.
Then go out and practice my moves.
VHS, the old school days of VHS,
hard until the old tape starts getting dirty, eh?
Yeah.
So with all your mahi with Sky TV, it obviously means you've done quite a bit of travelling. What have been some of your memorable trips and why? Like you went over to the World Cup last year.
The World Cup was probably the pinnacle for me. I guess being in rugby for 4 years, and leading up to that, I was fortunate enough to go to Australia to work on the Bledisloe Cup, and also to Fiji to work on the Super Rugby games there between, I think, usually the Chiefs and Crusaders. So we would be there for the week doing stories in the community, and I guess getting the stories ready for the build-up on the Friday night. So we would have maybe 2-3 stories that we'd have to shoot for the week and edit and have into the coverage that Friday night. And so, yeah, those kind of trips to Fiji were pretty cool. Going to Australia was awesome. Budget could only meant that I could only go to like Australia or Fiji, which was awesome. But going to the World Cup was the best for me. Best and hardest, as in we were there for 8 weeks, and some people would say you were there for a holiday, but we worked pretty hard. There's pretty much no days off apart from the tsunami, where we had to stay in our accommodation. But yeah, it was awesome, and we worked pretty hard to cover the coverage. The only downfall was we lost. But apart from that, it was awesome. Great trip, great opportunity to go over there and work and do some good stuff.
So what do you love most about your job?
What I love about it is that it's not really a job, because it's stuff that I would like watch do anyway if I was just a normal punter. You know, all week we work on rugby and we do all these stories, but then usually Saturday we get the day off. We get the day off anyway, and you know, I'm going to watch the games anyway. So to be able to do something that it's not really mahi and something that you love, it's pretty good. And I love sports, so it's to be able to have the opportunity to work in that kind of area has been awesome.
If you had the chance to do a sports documentary on anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
I'd like to be that director who's done the Lance Dance. You know, something like that, 10 episodes. That's amazing. And because I watched all the behind the scenes that they have with the director, and he was saying that they interviewed 106 people for the documentary, and it's like 500 hours of footage, and
wow,
yeah, it's just mind-blowing the level of, you know, to be at that level. Awesome. I guess if it's a New Zealand thing, I think it's already been done, but to do the behind the scenes of the All Blacks would be awesome. I guess that's probably the pinnacle of like documentary making, if you had the chance to do that. But I would hope that if you could have the same access as what you know, in the training, the locker rooms and changing room, that's probably what separates you know, docos from being average to being great.
What other mahi have you got on the pipeline going forward, Paora?
Currently working on a documentary on the Olympics. Even though the Olympics has been postponed for a year, we are releasing our documentary on the New Zealand Olympics history, because this year was supposed to be 100 years of New Zealand in the Olympics. So we've been working tirelessly on that. So that's coming out in August. And I started doing that in November. So yeah, with all that's going on, we've had, you know, I thought we might be shut down with the Olympics getting postponed for a year. But luckily, New Zealand Olympics and Sky have said that they want to release it in August, which is cool. And yeah, it's been pretty much me, and just been working with my editor at the moment, he's been doing all the hard yards, Mark Malaki Williams. He's been doing all the hard yards at the moment because we can't be in the same room or anything, so he's been editing that at home, and we've been having video conferences to kind of go over the doco and see how it's going. So yeah, it's progressing pretty good. I hope people love it, and yeah, it's been a interesting situation with this, all what's been going on.
So just touching on that a little bit, you're saying you've been working from home with documentaries, and obviously no one's been at the Sky office or the producing studios. And how's that worked? How's that been working remotely? Yeah,
well, because it's just the doco team is just me, myself, and the editor, my editor. So yeah, that's been really hard because he's had to juggle editing with raising his family, looking after his family, because his partner works as well from home. So it's been a real juggle, and also the laptop he's been working on being real slow, and yeah, there's been a few, you know, teething issues and stuff. It's been, yeah, not ideal. You know, ideally we'd love to be back in the edit suite and be able to just pump it out, but and also just the dialogue between myself and him. So when we do have a video conference, I watch down what he's done, and we just talk through the doco and just how we're going and if we're on the right track. But yeah, it's been a challenging process. I guess for him and definitely for me, but being not able to contribute as much as I would like to. But yeah, I guess these are all things of the process, I guess.
Yeah, well, we can. I think we feel that, Paora. It's quite nice for us to be in the same room now that we're in level 2.
Yeah, 1 meter, you're 1 meter.
Yeah, that's right. But we've had some technical issues as well along the way. But anyway, we're back on track. So before we wrap up, Paora, what type of advice would you give any young ones who are keen to get into the type of work you do?
I guess find something that you love and go for it. I guess some people might be sports, some people it might be other different areas in TV. And just find the different pathways that you want and go for it. And watch a lot of stuff, especially if you're in the content production type mahi. Watch a lot of stuff, take notes, just jot down little things that you might see or screenshot, interview frames or, things that you might see, and just, you never know when those things will come in handy for different programs or different stories. And yeah, always listen out there of, what might be out there, because you never know that you might find that little gem of a story that might pop up, and then you're like, boom, or it came from that, one idea that got sparked from something.
It's that time of the show, Paora, where we do Pick Up the Pace Challenge.
Oh.
So we're going to name one topic, and to that one topic, you've got to give 9 answers. So, for example, if we said name 9 different types of colours, you'll say blue, black, orange, green, and you've got 10 seconds. So you'll do the counting, bro?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get my stopwatch going. Reset. Alrighty. Ready, brother?
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Okay, no, that's all good. Here we go. Paora Ratahi. From Auckland, name for me 9 NBA teams. Go.
LA Lakers, LA Clippers, Phoenix Suns, New York Knicks, Brooklyn Nets, Oklahoma Thunder.
Oh, what's that one? 6?
6.
Hey.
6.
Shit.
It's hard, eh?
It's hard.
Can you just do like the short nicknames? Is that okay?
Yeah.
yeah,
You could have done the Knicks, the Lakers, the Clippers,
Oh.
the Bulls. It's always afterwards that you think of the answers.
Oh, hey, cabbage.
This guy here, Magic, he won a $10,000 Freedom Furniture voucher on the AM show on TV3 for getting it right, naming Super Rugby teams.
It was a fluke.
Yeah.
Hey, Paora, that's what happens when you go to the Wainui Bakery at 6:15 in the morning getting sausage rolls.
Hey, awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Paora. Ngā mihi nui kia koe e hoa. Thanks for joining us here on the Pick Up the Pace podcast. Keep up the good work, and I'm sure we'll be in touch again at some point very soon. Take care, eh?
Yeah, thank you, brothers. Just thanks for the opportunity. I know that you guys are really scraping the barrel with this with me, but yeah, thanks for the opportunity for a bit of a kōrero, and yeah, keep up the good work, brothers, and yeah, thank you very much.